The all-new 2025 Audi Q5 is so close you can almost hear it. And if you're thinking of buying one, you might want to act fast because the 2025 model could be the last one equipped with an internal combustion engine. So let's savor the moment and find out more about the new Q5. Since March 2022, spy photographers have been hot on the trail of the latest Audi Q5, capturing prototypes of what will be the last model powered by an internal combustion engine. These camouflaged snapshots offer the best look yet at the new model's design. At first glance, it might not seem like a radical departure from the current model because dramatic overhauls aren't really Audi's way of doing things. However, the new model sports a more modern and significantly bolder look, especially considering the latest snapshots taken during its intense cold weather testing in Scandinavia. While the overall size remains consistent with the previous generation, the spy shots reveal a design language similar to the Q5 E-Tron launched in China some time ago. Yes, the Q5 E-Tron is not available in the US. In the States, it's been replaced by the Q6 E-Tron. No idea why Audi has chosen this route of marketing and selling their SUVs. But let's get back to our new Q5 and the major exterior changes predicted for 2025. Starting up front, the first thing we notice from the spy photos is a slightly different grille pattern. It seems that Audi has revamped its traditional hexagonal grille into a design that mirrors the look of some of their electric vehicles. Yet it will still have to be open, at least partially, because an internal combustion engine will still sit behind it, needing more air than an EV will ever need. The grille also appears shorter and more narrow, which is unusual in the modern age of big, mean front grilles. Yes, we're looking at you, BMW. We can also see the headlights poking out of the camouflage wrap, and it seems that Audi ditched the sharp angles for a smoother, more streamlined and aggressive look, like the ones you get on the Alfa Romeo Stelvio at the moment. The front bumper also seems new, with a larger central intake and smaller side vents. Overall, the front end seems taller, more upright, with a fresh, modern vibe that appears to borrow some elements from the new Q6 E-Tron as well. A few things have changed down the sides as well. While the new Q5 keeps true to the same sporty silhouette as before, the roofline seems a bit less arched towards the rear. That is good news because it could mean better headroom for the rear passengers and a more spacious cargo area. Moreover, the side view mirrors seem a bit off, like they've been moved from the doors to the A-pillars. It could be for the sake of better visibility, aerodynamics, or both. We'll know for sure once Audi decides to launch the new Q5. The greenhouse is also a bit larger, and the flush-mounted door handles give it all a more modern, futuristic presence. In the back, the 2025 Q5 will feature a pair of exhaust tips on the left side of the rear bumper. If you squint a bit, you might get the impression that the new Q5 is derived from the actual Q4 E-Tron. And you're not wrong to assume that. The sleek, slimmer LED lights in the back are likely to be connected by a full-width light bar, and the massive clamshell tailgate is gone. The license plate holder sits further up on the new tailgate, and the rear shoulders seem beefier and angrier. Even though all the test vehicles we've spotted so far have been cloaked in camouflage, the changes in the general shape are quite visible, and they give us a good sense of what to expect from the new 2025 Q5 and the SQ5. Audi is apparently planning on releasing a new SQ5 Sportback as well. This sportier model will have a roofline arched more towards the rear in a coupe-like fashion, so buyers will have a choice of more headroom and cargo space or more sportiness. In the back, the SQ5 should feature a bolder diffuser with a signature 4-pipe exhaust system that hopefully will be featured in all markets where the Four Rings brand will sell their spicy crossover. The bumper also seems upgraded with a pair of smaller reflectors. Photos show the upcoming SQ5 will ride on a set of large black alloys that house some beefy brakes, and rumors say it'll feature a retuned chassis with a stiffer suspension setup that will allow it to ride a bit closer to the tarmac than the regular Q5 models. All in all, the 2025 SQ5 looks more like an oversized hot hatchback than a crossover SUV. Early spy shots have given us a sneak peek at the interior, featuring a large, freestanding infotainment display alongside a smaller digital instrument cluster behind the steering wheel. This setup suggested a cool tech upgrade for the new generation, but keeping it in line with other modern vehicles produced by Audi. The few snapshots we got also showed a few physical buttons and knobs for the HVAC controls. The center console featured a handy storage cubby and what looked like a push-button gear selector. A huge Quattro badge takes center stage, behind the main screen and the central air vents. The dashboard and door panels were dressed in a fabric that looked like attracting a lot of dust. The SQ5 should share the same dashboard panel, infotainment system, and digital dials with the standard Q5 models. However, in pure Audi fashion, it could receive a different steering wheel and upholstery, perhaps with some contrasting stitching and dedicated S badges. As far as oil burners are concerned, this could be the last Q5 generation to offer combustion engines. Audi's made it crystal clear that they will launch their last ICE cars in 2025, with everything coming out from 2026 onwards to be pure electrical power. Now, we don't know how much this will apply to North America. We know that emission regulations in Europe are getting stricter and stricter, but the Ingolstadt-based luxury brand shouldn't worry too much about that in the US, but only time will tell. So far, we know that the Q5 will ride on an updated version of the Volkswagen Group's MLB Evo platform. It's the same platform that underpins the current Q5 and A5, which accommodates a longitudinally mounted engine and standard front-wheel drive. Audi's head of technical development, Oliver Hoffman, called the MLB platform and the lineup of engines built on it the best the company has ever launched. Well, what do you think? Is that so? Let's not forget that the MBL platform is also the foundation for other acclaimed models such as the Q7, Q8, Volkswagen Touareg, and even the Bentley Bentayga and the Lamborghini Urus. As for engines, expect all the powertrains in the new Q5 and SQ5 to have some sort of electrification, either with a mild hybrid or plug-in hybrid technology. The internal combustion engines will most probably be either 4 cylinders or V6s. Diesel engines can also be offered, but we believe those will be reserved for European buyers. Those 4 exhaust pipes at the back of the SQ5 variant could be hinting at a V6, maybe with some mild hybrid 48-volt assistance and some 370-plus horsepower available. Hopefully, the BMW X3 M50i competitor will keep its 6 cylinders too, and that would make for a great matchup. Judging by the sound of the SQ5 prototype while being tested on the Nürburgring, we could make a wild guess and say dual-clutch automatic transmission. To freshen up our memory, all the current generation Q5 SUVs come with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder paired to a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. The standard 40 TFSI variant makes 201 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque, while the 45 TFSI boosts the power output to 261 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. The top of the line is the 55 TFSI, which is a plug-in hybrid that builds on the standard 4-cylinder engine paired to a 17.9 kilowatt-hour battery and an electric motor for a combined 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. The EPA also estimates about 23 miles of all-electric power for the PHEV. So the next-gen Q5 will probably build on those numbers. The SQ5 in the current generation is a 3-liter turbocharged V6 with 349 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. An 8-speed automatic transmission sends power to all 4 wheels as standard. As we've already shown, we believe the new generation SQ5 will boost these numbers even more. Also, we expect the SQ5 to behave more like a big hot hatch than a crossover SUV. Some fun times are coming. Anyways, we're waiting on Audi to give us more details on the upcoming powertrain lineup for the next generation of the Q5. So far, all these are speculation and rumors flying around on the market. As far as we know, the production of the new Q5 for North America is currently in progress at Audi's plant in Mexico. The 2025 Q5 is probably in its latest stages of development, and it should debut by the end of this year, while the SQ5 is expected to debut next year. However, we still don't know if the German brand will ever release an RS Q5 to take on the X3M and the AMG GLC 63. We don't know much about pricing either, but given that the Q5 is the middle child in Audi's lineup of SUVs, situated somewhere between the smaller Q3 and the bigger 3-row Q7, we expect a figure of around $60,000.